sweet sunshine. I haven't seen you in forever. Literally though, guys, it has been raining every single day since the beginning of winter. It's a little ridiculous. I really can't tell you how amazing this is. It is such a nice day and I have been in such an amazing mood. Anyways, hi, hello, I'm Marina, that one girl that likes to talk a lot about houseplants, and welcome to Millennial Planter. So today I am going to share all of my plant goals for the growing season for spring and for summer. So it is officially March. The first day of spring is March 20th. So we're just a few short weeks away from spring. Today, like I said in the beginning, it is a nice, warm, sunny day. I actually went to Home Depot because I had to get some pots, and everything was in bloom. They had all of the beautiful flowers out, and I was just getting all the spring vibes, even though it's the last day of February currently. It felt really amazing, and my spirit feels so rejuvenated, and I am ready to take on all the experiments for the new growing season and just ready to wake my plants up and embrace them and get them to grow big. So yeah, before we talk about that though, let me know your growing season goals, your growing season resolutions in the comments down below. Do you guys plan on doing some experiments? Do you plan on continuing to maturing your plants? Do you want to downsize? Do you want to get more plants? Let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Now let's get on with some plant goals. So the first plant goal I have is, well, my experiment of growing plants on moss pools, planks, and soil pools. So this is going to be like a long goal, and you know, I talk about it all the time, I know, but I really do plan on just experimenting more and getting bigger leaves. So I have like my philodendron splendid. I just made that, I think it's like a 6-foot moss pole at this point. So I'm excited to fill up that entire moss pole and see how big I can get the leaves. Same thing with my philodendron melanochrysum, who's on a soil pole that is also, maybe it's not quite 6 feet, it might be like 5 feet, over 5 feet. So I'm excited to get those really big leaves and just watch those poles fill out. Also, I want to get my Campos portuanum to mature more. So it's starting to slowly size up, which is really exciting. It's on a wooden plank right now, and you know what, philodendron, Campos portuanum, they have really loby-ness to them. They get really loby, almost like a syngonium when they start to mature. They also lose that velvetyness to them. So I'm really excited to see this happen. I actually hosted a giveaway, I think last year, and the girl who won actually gave her rooted cutting of my philodendron Campos portuanum, and hers, from the cutting that I've given her, has grown so massive and it's so mature now, and mine is nothing. So she really inspired me to venture into really like dedicating my time to maturing that plant. So I'm excited to do it, and I'm excited to see the leaves slowly starting to mature and get a little bit bigger. And this is going to, for the same for my variegated heartleaf philodendron. I am obsessed with the way these look when their leaves get big. So I'm excited. Like, I don't see enough climbing pothos or climbing heartleaf philodendrons. So I'm really excited to start this and just to see how big the leaves can get this growing season. Same thing with my Monstera siltepecana, because I think it's cool just to like grow stuff, mature plants that you really don't see people mature too often. Like you always see like the trailing Monstera siltepecanas, the trailing philodendron heartleaf philodendrons. So yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of fun to see them and experience them in their like mature state. I'm really excited about those. Really, I want to like mature all of my plants, but those are like the ones that I'm most excited for. Also need to figure out my Monstera epiprimoides. No, my Monstera esqueleto. Ugh, I always get the name mixed up. I want to see her grow more this season. She has been 2 leaves for months and months and months, and I feel like I'm struggling with her a little bit. Like, she's not dying, but she's not thriving. So I really need to get her to start to grow so we can get some big esqueleto leaves, because I heard they're really easy to mature. And then the last one would be my epipremnum skeleton key. I really want to try to figure out how to get that thing to morph into another shape. I really think the thing is sunlight with it. I think it needs more light. I also need to put it in a bigger pot because it's always thirsty. So I need to check the roots, repot her, put her in a bigger pot. I'm probably gonna end up chopping her too because she's pretty long at this point. So I'm gonna chop her and then put her in a brighter lit area underneath a grow light somewhere. I don't know where I'm gonna put her, but I'm gonna put her somewhere and see if that does the trick. I really think that's going to help because she is like fully attached to the plank that I have her on, and she's climbing, but we're not getting any fenestrations or any sort of like change at all. Her leaves have gotten slightly bigger, but their leaves don't necessarily need to get big before they start to change, because I've seen skeleton leaves in that skeleton shape, but they're like tiny. So I don't know. Sunlight, that's gonna be my my next change in her care. But before I do all of that, my next goal would be to slowly wake my plants up for the spring and summertime. So I kind of talked about this in one of my previous videos, but starting in late December, early January, I started to back off on my grow light duration for my plants. I stopped fertilizing altogether, and I kind of put them in like a semi-dormant state. So they weren't like fully dormant like the plants outside, but they definitely like slowed down their growth a little bit. My humidity constantly drops in the plant room. So plant room was sometimes like 30 degrees humidity, 30% humidity in here. And also my watering was very, very minimal in the winter time. I mean, you guys saw my plant vlogs. It was a little struggle there for a little bit, but now I am slowly starting to wake them up. So I increased my grow light duration by an hour, just an hour. And already I am seeing so many Hoya blooms, first of all, which was amazing. We're going to talk about that next. And then I'm starting to see like more leaf growth as well, like leaves that are like starting to emerge and come out. So I'm kind of loosely staying on schedule with like the sunlight and when the sun goes down and when it comes up. But come fall and winter, I'm gonna dive more into this, more experimenting into this, and just see how it is. You know, I saw somebody else mention this on TikTok, that she noticed a difference in her anthurium flowers. So I thought it would just be cool just to experiment with it. And I really think it's nice to give our plants a period of rest, you know, like, yes, we do give them the optimal environment to grow really well and grow all year round, but like, why? They don't have to continue to grow, but I want to see the difference. I want to see if I notice a difference in leaf size and the overall health of the plant when I give them that rest period versus when I'm just constantly feeding them and constantly like giving them 14 hours of grow light action, you know? So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with that. So definitely, yeah, we'll follow along with me on that journey. And the next one is blooms. I want to see more Hoya blooms. Okay, so let's talk about Hoya blooms. Whenever I give Hoya advice, my number one tip is to figure out what type of Hoya you have and when that Hoya likes to bloom out in nature. Because some Hoyas are summer bloomers, some are fall bloomers, and really, when does that come down to? It comes down to weather change and sunlight duration period, like how long the sun is out. And I noticed this with my Hoyas. You know, my Hoyas, I've had I don't know, a handful that have bloomed for me, and you know, like they'll continuously bloom. And since I put my grow lights back on for that extra hour, all of my Hoyas that have bloomed before but haven't bloomed recently are blooming again. It's insane. I'm getting so many peduncles, so many umbels. I even have new Hoyas that I haven't seen peduncle or bloom bloom for me starting to bud up. So like my Hoya fungii has always had at least one peduncle, but it's putting out another peduncle, so it has two, and then one of them is actually forming buds. So I'm really excited about that. My Hoya icensis also has some blooms that haven't opened yet. And then I know there's another one, I'm not sure. I know my Callista phylla put out another Hoya, another umbel. So it's just really exciting. Like I knew that Hoyas all like to bloom at different stages in the year, but it's just so cool to see it happen in my plant room and to see that. So I'm excited to also to see what will happen when I start to cut back the time in the fall. Like who else is gonna bloom for me? Oh, if I get my compacta to bloom, I will literally cry. I just want to smell that chocolatey goodness so bad. So that's kind of been my newest, I guess, revelation with plants, or my newest lesson with my plants. So I'm also interested to see if like my anthurium are gonna bloom more. I know currently my Doriaki's blooming. Oh, actually, I think so, because my Doriaki's in bloom, but that one's been in bloom. But my crystallinum right behind me just put out an inflorescence. No, it just put out a peduncle. It hasn't opened up yet. And also, I'm pretty sure my clarinervium is about to put out a peduncle as well. Take a shot every time I say peduncle. So, wow, okay. Yeah, this is gonna be my next experiment for the next year or so. But for right now, I'm slowly waking them up, and I will start fertilizing them probably like within the next couple weeks. I got a new fertilizer at Bios. It's Bios fertilizer. I think it's something that you mix in the soil. And then I also have a liquid fertilizer that's coming in. So yes, I'm gonna start dabbling with those whenever I'm not like lazy enough to get to it. Now, my third planting goal for the growing season would be to get more Hoya. That probably sounds silly, but there's two Hoyas specifically, and it is the Borneo. I'll put the name on the screen, and then the Gunungading, that I have wanted for so long. There's like a handful of Hoyas that I have wanted for a few years now, and it's just like, I'm getting them this year. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna get them because I need them in my collection. I'm tired of looking at them on Facebook and not having them. I just want to experience them. And you all know Hoya really do bring me a lot of joy. They are my favorite genus, and I just really enjoy growing my Hoya collection. I'm also just learning so much about them. I'm going through this whole phase of flowering them and understanding them even more. I think that's what gets me more excited, because I feel like I'm understanding them more. And that's always like just the best part about owning plants, right? So it's almost like I loved them already, but like my love is being reignited in a way. I don't know. But yeah, they're just like, they get me really excited about life. Another thing with my Hoyas, I want to start experimenting with growing them in cocoa husk or cocoa chips. So I actually just ordered some that will be here in a few days. And so what happened was I ordered some Hoyas. I got my chicken farm and then my Monetea, I think how it's pronounced, and they were in cocoa chips. And I thought, like I've always heard people of growing their Hoya and Dischidia in cocoa chips, but I never really tried it myself. I know Unsolicited Plant Talks is like a really popular grower that swears by cocoa chips, but I noticed how fast my Hoyas rebound. So those two Hoyas had new growth that unfortunately died off because they went from like a really great greenhouse to a box to my house. So the new growth like died the next day, but within 2 weeks, they're already shooting out new tendrils and new leaves, which is insane. It's super fast, at least for my plant room, the Hoyas I have, and I was kind of mind blown. So I went on Instagram and I was asking about it and if people have any experience and like, can they share what they like? And like, I got so many messages and all of the messages were positive. Also, if you have experience with growing in cocoa husk, definitely let me know how you like it in the comments down below. And the biggest thing people had to say was that you do have to water more frequently and fertilize, which I'm already used to fertilizing because my soil base is cocoa coir. So cocoa, anything is naturally like doesn't have any nutrients in it. So if you grow in any sort of cocoa base, you need to pretty regularly fertilized. But then also, you know, the frequent watering isn't going to be too much of a problem for me because I am an overwaterer for the most part. Also, when I do my Hoya mixes and I pot them up, I usually try to do a chunky mix, but there was just something about those cocoa chips that really just make the Hoyas so happy. So I'm gonna slowly convert a couple of them to the cocoa chips and see how it is. So that's something else I'm really excited about. I really want to try to do more experiments this growing season too, because that's another way that you just fall more in love with your plants, especially because I'm not really trying to buy plants, which is something that's just like always a constant for me. I always just try to trade as much as I can, which is always fun because I always end up with plants I've never heard of before. Cocoa husk, that's going to be my next venture. I tried leca, I hated leca, and that's really the only sort of like soil substrate I've tried. Other than like propagating in perlite, I've always just been like a cocoa coir soil kind of gal. Like I hate regular potting soil, which is why I use cocoa coir, but that's what I've been using for like years now. So I'm excited to try this next thing. My next goal will be to successfully pollinate at least one of my anthurium, please. I have 3 plants that constantly bloom. Anthurium, so the Doriaki, the Crystallinum, and the Clarinervium. I need to stop procrastinating and just start to dive deep into pollination world. I know I need to hop on Reddit. Everybody tells me about Reddit and the plant community, so I need to do that and figure out more pollination tips. Mainly what I need to know is like what species can cross with what species, you know, like I want to cross pollinate. I think it would be a lot of fun, and I know a lot about the pollination stages and like the male and the female and collecting pollen and freezing it and all that stuff. But the one thing that has always like stopped me, and you know, I've tried to like pollinate my anthurium myself, but I'm pretty sure it was like with crosses that just can't pollinate together. So I need to figure that out too. So yeah, I want to successfully pollinate somebody, grow some berries on my own. You all know my anthurium Backery technically did pollinate in my care, but she like self-pollinated. It was so bizarre, but apparently that species of anthurium is notorious for self-pollinating, which is kind of crazy because it kind of contradicts the reason why anthuriums have a male-female flower. Like they go through the male stage first and then the female stage, so they can't self-pollinate. That way they can kind of like spread their seeds and broaden the genetic pool in a way. But some are just notorious for self-pollinating, and that is what my Backery did twice. That was really cool. She hasn't done it this year, which I'm kind of offended about, but she's massive. She's actually put out 2 pups this year, that same mama plant. So maybe that's why she's like putting out babies instead of berries this year. So also what's saying that, I want to also expand my plant knowledge, which is something I feel like a lot of us want to do. I want to know more than just like growing houseplants. Like I really want to know the science and the botany behind it. Eventually, I think it would be really neat to get my horticultural certification. I really see that probably happening within the next couple years because my youngest child, my son, is going to be going to pre-K this next coming school year, so I'll have some more free time, which is really exciting, you know. And I am somebody that loves to learn. My brain has always loved school and reading and knowledge. You know, like there's just some people that just don't vibe with that, which I totally understand, but my brain just always loves to learn new things. So I really want to understand the science behind a lot of plants. I want to also just be able to pick up a plant and spit out like random cool facts about its native growing area. Or see, I don't even know the terminology. Like there's not much up here these days, but I'm gonna change that. So that's definitely going to be one of my big goals as well. And you know, we can learn together. So there's that. And then my last goal for this growing season is more of like a personal goal, but also a goal for the channel. And that is to do more plant tours. So I like to do plant tours of people's collections that are in my community. It's been hard though, because I don't know a lot of people that are close to me. A lot of people are further out where I have to drive, and I have a lot of driving anxiety. it's bad and it's really annoying. It really is. I get so mad at myself about driving on the highway, and I've reached out to people in the past asking, you know, like, hey, let's set up a date soon so we can do plant tours. So I have people in mind and people that I know that are willing and excited to do the plant tours with me. You know, I love being able to just go and see how other people grow their plants. That's the biggest reason why I wanted to do plant tours, because I love seeing how different everybody's environments is and how different everybody's collections are and how different they'll care for one plant that I have, but I care for it in a completely different way. I love that. I think it's so awesome. And then also just giving people the ability and the chance to share their collection, because I feel like a lot of people do like to kind of show off their collection because it's something to be proud of. You know, it's something to grow, something that you've grown and nurtured for yourself. And why not show that off? You know, like I think that's awesome. So yeah, driving anxiety. If you guys have tips for overcoming that, let me know, because it's something that I want to do, but I'm hoping I can do at least 2 this growing season, at least 2. 3 would be my like big dreamy goal. But my low goal is 2. I think I can at least do 2. So yes, just give me all the encouragement, please. That will give me more incentive to like overcome my fear more. But oh goodness, it's rough out there, man. Like I can do street driving all day, that's fine. But the minute I have to go on the highway, I am a mess. And then it's just so exhausting. Like it literally drains all of your energy, and like by the time I get home, I'm done. I am done. But anyways, that's just a little insight into my anxieties. And that also wraps it up for my goals for the growing season. So I'm so excited. The sun just keeps coming in more and more, and I'm not even mad, because this is the only time of the year really when my plant room even gets natural sunlight, because the leaves are still off the trees, and the sun is like slightly rising more and more. So my plants, this is the only natural light they get. I feel so bad for them. But it feels so nice. Anyways, yeah, if you stuck around this far, go ahead, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I would absolutely love to have you and help me propagate this community with me. And as always, I hope you all are staying safe, sane, happy, and healthy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.